Good morning. I'm Dawn Combs. Welcome to Bubble Up. I only do these when I get inspired. There's just something that, have you ever had something in your brain that you just couldn't not have a discussion with somebody? And this past couple days, it came out that the Oregon Department of Health has put out that math is racist. And I wanted to understand where they were coming from. And so I took a look. Those of you, hopefully you've had a chance. If you haven't, Google it and take a look at what they're claiming and what they're hoping to propose as a solution. Um Now I think a lot of people are going to react. Some people will react very viscerally, very quickly, that that's all ridiculous and it's a bunch of hooey and it's a bad thing. And there may be people that think it's a great idea, that we need to examine how racism has infiltrated all the different areas of our study. I'm going to say that I'm in the middle and I really want to kind of unpack this idea. So, the suggestion is that the way that we study math, it's a Western way, it's an imperialist way that we are studying math in schools today across America. I think we can definitely say we are in the West and we do need to pick a way to teach math. But to throw out some perspective, this week in homeschool, my kids are studying the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Incas. And one of the things that we studied just yesterday were the Mayan numbers. And the Mayan numbers are different. So the Mayan, they're an ancient civilization. We still have people in this in these descendants today living in villages and living the way that the Mayans did in ancient times. The Mayan civilization at its peak was a very intelligent society. I think oftentimes we look at history and we think, oh, those people from back then, we've advanced and we know so much more. But the Mayans are a great example of how that's not true. The Mayans had advanced understandings of how to watch the skies, and they had their own calendar setting or a calendar set up. I've got a bird at my window making a lot of noise. Lots of birds. Um, they had their own numbering system, and it is different than what we're using. So my kids know how to our number system is based on 10 multiples of 10, and when we teach kids how to count and we teach kids the basics of math, we're teaching them on the multiples of 10. In the Mayan system, it was based on 20. For whatever reason, uh, it's believed what they were asking me to teach my kids was that maybe because we have 10 fingers and 10 toes. I don't know about that, but they based it on 20. Maybe 20 was more significant. Maybe they saw it as an easier way to count. Maybe it was cultural. But I think it's valid to say that what the Oregon Department of Education has come out and said is that uh, Native American, Latinx, and our African American population may have different backgrounds, whether they're from Africa or not. Different peoples of different colors and different cultural backgrounds may have different ethnic ways of doing math or even looking at numbers. I think that's the grain of truth. So anytime we kind of go off the rails, I think we start off with something that is somewhat truthful. It is truthful that there are different ways to look at math and coming up with the answers. And Common Core right now is, unfortunately, I think it was trying to correct a problem and it made a new problem. Um, math really can be gotten to, the answer can be gotten to in a lot of different ways. However, I think we have to teach a way, and then we have to allow for the fact that there are other ways to get at the answer. My daughter does different things when we sit and do math. She knows how she was taught, but she's getting the right answer, and it isn't the way I would do it, but it's how her brain works. And I allow her to do that because she's getting the right answer. When we start to suggest, though, the Oregon Department of Education is trying to suggest that teaching math and expecting kids to have the right answers and expecting them to follow a certain path is inherently racist. We're starting to have a problem. The idea that um, one of the suggestions is that the teachers need to be retrained. They need to ask what are one or two, or what are two or three of your best answers to this math problem. There is a real problem there. We may acknowledge that there are different cultural ways to approach math and to look at numbers and to think about these things. But in the end, there's one right answer. When we go to measure a beam that is going to go into a house and hold up the structure of that roof, there is only one right answer. We are doing a disservice to children, whatever their color is, whatever their cultural background is, to tell them that they aren't capable. And this is where the notion of separating out people and their ability for intellect, that we need to accommodate somebody's ability for intellect because of their skin color, is racist. It is looking at somebody and deciding their potential, deciding what they're capable of doing based on what their cultural heritage is, or how much melanin they have in their skin. That's ridiculous. To suggest, like our president did in the recent town hall, that people with more melanin in their skin aren't capable of using the internet. Now we have the Department of Oregon doing the same, sorry, the Department of Health in Oregon doing the same thing. Oh, children with darker skin can't possibly come up with one right answer. So we need to retrain teachers to stop expecting that of them. That is offensive. It's offensive and it's disgusting. It is not wrong to bring into the classroom. My kids were capable of learning Mayan numbers and understanding that there's a different way to look at the math and the writing of the numbers. Every child is capable of that, regardless of what they look like. They're capable of understanding that there are other cultural ways. It expands the mind. But what you need to do is expand what we're already teaching. There aren't two or three right answers to what 2 plus 2 is. 2 plus 2 is 4. And there's a reason for math in our world. There's a reason for math in actual application to the world around us, the way that we build our world, the way that the way that we do practical things, the pipes that are being put together in our homes so that we have electricity, or plumbing. It's not two or three right answers when we cut those things. It's one right answer. Now, how you come at that, whether you write it all down, whether you do it in your head, whether you envision boxes being put together in your head and you come to the end, who cares? But there is a right answer. And acknowledging that there is a right answer is not, it is not taking away anybody's ability to be individual. It's recognizing that there is reality and there are consequences to not understanding how to get to that point in reality. One of the other things that is recommended in this new idea is that teachers are being racist by asking students to show their work. How disgusting is that, to take that away from kids? When my kids do their math homework, they are expected to show me their work. One of those reasons is, as a teacher, I can look back through their work and I can understand what concept they didn't get. I can understand where maybe they just transposed a number and it was just a mistake. It wasn't a misunderstanding in how math works, it was writing down a number wrong. And that is the teacher's job to understand. Do I have a student who doesn't understand the concept, or do I have a student that's just doing sloppy work? My kids, in learning to write what their thought process was, helps them helps them. And to take that away from them is robbing kids of learning how to document, write down, figure out how they got to an answer. Because when my kids get a math problem wrong, I say, let's go back. Kids immediately want to erase. Oh my gosh, I got it wrong. Everything's wrong here. That's not the right way to handle that. We go back into that math problem and we start to go line by line to find where they made the mistake. And they can see whether they're just being careless, or how they might improve, or how they might help themselves to get better. When we take those tools away from people because we are trying to somehow save them from their color or their culture, guys, that is perpetuating. It is keeping people down. It is not expecting more. It is not giving them more. Everybody has the same capability to learn math. Even my daughter, who is, she's a creative thinker. So math is difficult for her. She doesn't think that way. We have to allow for the fact that different people have a different way of seeing the world, but they still have to get to the right answer. My daughter, I alter how we approach math. Sometimes we color pictures. That's the answer. And of course, it has nothing to do with what skin tone she has or what her cultural heritage is, which I think we know. I mean, I know we come from Norway on one side, but God only knows on the other side. Guys, it doesn't matter. Right is right and wrong is wrong. How we get to the answers, yeah, we can do better. We can do better at exploring how a child, how their mind works differently. We can do better at at working with each individual child, and I would say that's where homeschooling is such a benefit, because nobody could craft my daughter's math and my son's math differently in a classroom full of 30 kids. They don't have time. They may care greatly about my child, but they don't have time to do that. That's our problem. Not dumbing it down because we think somebody with a different skin tone isn't um, a different skin tone isn't capable of showing their work, or somehow it is racist to ask them to show their work. These are the tools that all of our kids deserve to have. They deserve to know that they have to get to the right answer to be successful. They deserve to know how to put their work down in front of them so that they don't have to backtrack all the way to the beginning. They don't have to redo their work over and over again. They are capable of only going back a couple steps and seeing where they may have made a mistake and simply correcting something small. This is life. This is how real life works. And if we aren't teaching our kids real life, if we're assuming something about their capacity to understand real life because of something stupid like their skin color and their cultural background, we are creating more division. We are holding down parts of our society that we live in. We're expecting the worst for them and not giving them the tools to fly. So, Oregon Department of Education, I'd love to say you're getting it all wrong, but I think there are some things there that maybe not. Let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. It would be amazing if more of our schools did slow down and begin to understand that kids are different. They do come from different cultural perceptions. In their homes, there are different cultural practices. In their minds, there are different ways of viewing the world. So yeah, Can we slow things down? Can we begin to find ways to think outside of the box when we're teaching and not expect our teachers to follow some sort of strict program? Ask our teachers to teach and then get out of their way and let them do it. But none of this has anything to do with skin color. None of it. Acknowledging that kids are different and they need to be taught differently is a great thing, Oregon. That's a great thing. Asking your teachers to look at those kids differently is a great thing. But calling math inherently racist and determining that there are no right answers in math is going to do a great disservice to our culture and to our society at large. And I'm hoping that that just stays in your state. What do you guys think? What bubbles up in this conversation? What are you thinking? I would love to hear it. So I'm making sure that these are able. I was setting them wrong here on YouTube. They're now set so you can respond here and also on our social media, Soda Farm Cafe on Facebook and Instagram. I would love to hear from you or drop us a line on our website. Thanks so much. Let us know what thoughts bubble up for you, and we will see you next time.